We've done this in the past with, I feel like, Panda, where we learned that he was on a commercial growing up as a kid, and Jeff to realize that in Tokyo he might be a movie star. But
Singapore.
I'm gonna ask my wife tonight, what is something that the world doesn't know about you?
I don't even know anymore. I feel like I'd say
You've shared all?
Yeah.
There's nothing you've not shared.
Okay.
Don't make me come up with something.
When I was in high school, I used to go to this bluegrass. Well, we talked about how I was in a bluegrass band, but I used to go to this thing that was at a college. And basically you like learned how to play your instruments better. But they had cool things there as well. And one of the things that I did that I thought was awesome was I took a juggling class. And they used fruit.
I know this.
And so we just used this like big open field, and it was so funny because people were so bad that they were like chasing their fruit like down the field trying to like keep it going. Anyway, so I actually had mastered it at one point, but it's been a really long time. I probably can't juggle anymore.
So I think you should try on camera for all of us.
Bananas and apples.
I mentioned this in another show recently, but I feel like we could be a traveling rodeo. We could just hit the road, the five of us. We would have amazing time.
Like
People would buy tickets.
Great.
We would at least sell one ticket. So.
Absolutely.
I just like that Amy has the backup in case this whole Monera thing doesn't work out. You can see her at the boardwalk.
It's exactly what I thought in the middle of the field.
While playing the banjo. Like she could play the banjo, juggle, play the banjo, juggle.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger. I'm joined by juggling extraordinaire, Amy Krieger. We've got John Sakari, aka Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
I'm gonna tell you, Panda's what's the word I'm looking for? His form looks like he knows how to juggle.
I do not.
No.
The one, the only Jeff Haslam.
Hey, everybody.
And Senior Sales Associate for the DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now. Ding-a-ling-a-ling, ding-ding-ding-dong,
Would that be, is that your...
As you can tell, this is our third show. We are slap happy.
We're slap happy. We've had audio issues. We've had a little bit of everything tonight, but I'm super excited about tonight's topic because the answers we've gotten are all over the place and they cover every single basis of Disney Vacation Club. The question we asked our DVC fan Facebook community is, what is the biggest lies you've heard about Disney Vacation Club? The thing that your parents told you about timeshare growing up that just wasn't true, something that a bus driver told you about a new resort that never happened, all of those lies that you might have heard about Disney Vacation Club, like the fact that Amy Krieger might be juggling on Friday nights at the Boardwalk Resort. That, ladies and gentlemen, was a lie. But we asked these questions to our DVC fan Facebook community, which if you're not a member of, please head over there and join us. It is some great conversation. We have an amazing community in which we answer questions, we have fun, we share things, all that kind of stuff. But that is where we asked this question, and I've compiled what I consider the list of 10 of the most discussed things out of that post. So we will go through that. We'll discuss some of our own lies that maybe we've debunked over the years as well. As always, this and all of our DVC fan content is brought to you by the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. Monera Financial, where not only will you get juggling lessons, but you will also be able to finance that Disney Vacation Club resale purchase. I got a big eye roll from you on that one. And the DVC rental store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points, rent out your own points for some cash, swap your points for something like a Disney cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise, or a different type of vacation. All of that can be done with the DVC rental store. So show some love for our sponsors. When I posted this topic, Panda, anything that kind of jumped out at you as a lie as a member that you've heard of over the years? I'm going to see if it hits the top 10. I'm going to see which ones we can actually get before I even bring them up.
So these are, it's almost a lie you tell yourself, but the DVC person doesn't stop you from telling it to yourself. For instance, when you're shopping and you look at, let's say, the Riviera, and you go, okay, 150 points. And they're like, what room do you like? And I'm like, let me see that tower room because I'll go to the cheapest room. And you look at that and start to divide how many points that usually costs into the amount of points you're buying. Somebody needs to stop you, slap you, and tell you there's only 6 of those rooms and the chances of you getting one are pretty slim. So stop that math. It's not helping you or anyone, but they don't tell you that. So I'm here to tell you, don't lie to yourself thinking that you're going to get the cheapest room. Very good. Yep, that's it. That's it. Yep. And I do have one other lie that I tell myself, but I'll wait for that one.
It's almost like Family Feud. It's like, wow, what of the top 10 can we check off the list? Number 7 on my list, 150 points will be enough. That is a lie. Laura Kearns, Megan Chen, and many others in the community mentioned this in some of their comments. Laura specifically said 150 points will be enough. The lie I told myself.
Yes. Oh my God, I didn't read that. That's exactly the lie I told myself. And DVC people will not tell you you're lying to yourself. We will.
No. But that's what Derek is here for. So that when you do need that extra contract, Derek can assist with that. We have all, Panda, I know you got the itch, and one of these days we'll get you there. I say this, but we have added on. Jeff, you have added on. Derek has never pulled the trigger as much as he wants to. But yeah, it's something that happens. It's a lie that you kind of tell yourself.
Derek, you seeing these contracts and some of these resales, you don't really get the itch to be like, oh my gosh, that's such a good price. Grab it.
Every single day.
How do you not pull the trigger? Annie must be telling you do not.
Self-control.
It's the same way he's able to do dry January. He has the willpower of a god.
That didn't last, that dry January.
Can we also...
That's how you know Jeff and I are friends, because that was my joke that was ready to be bubbled up, and Jeff just took it to the rim. Exactly. It's called willpower. I want to, but I'm so used to having my 170, which is funny why I think it was Laura said like 150 is not enough. If you watch the show that probably came out prior to this, I talked about when I bought it. I said the minimum was 150, and my wife and I, Annie, almost 20 years ago, we sat there and we go, I don't want to buy 150 because it makes us look cheap. So let's buy 170. That's how I got 170. Which is still not enough. I think I'd be super happy with, like, honestly, like 250, 300 would probably make me super happy, because that's
we all keep telling ourselves these things as Panda has some sneezes, but you just keep adding on points. Do you remember what happened to us right out of the pandemic, which I felt like fueled some of our add-on purchases? So right when Disney reopened, I want to disclaimer this with the fact that upgrades are not really a thing in the Disney Vacation Club environment.
They're very rare.
It is very rare. You book the room that you are going to stay in, and 9 times out of 10, that's the room that you're going to stay in. But coming out of the pandemic, because so many rooms were left unoccupied, you saw yourself getting upgrades, and it was upgrades to a 1-bedroom. And I want to say, I still want to talk to an executive. This was methodical, because there are so many people that year or the year thereafter, it was like, I've always done studios, but I got an upgrade to a 1-bedroom and I don't think I can go back. I got to get more points. It's so much room. I can shut the door and the kids are in the other room. Derek, you hear these all the time.
That time, you're exactly right. That time was literally, I think, probably a record-breaking year for the DVC resale market, because people would literally tell me so many stories. Like, so we got to Copper and we only booked a studio, but oh my God, they gave us a Cascade cabin. Like, I would hear those stories all the time. Or we got upgraded to a 1-bedroom, or we got even put into a bungalow when we booked the Polynesian. Because That's literally the kiss of death. Is studios is what that's kind of the bread and butter of DVC. So that's what most people go into. Like, all right, I'm gonna do that. Studios are fine, but my God, once you stay in a 1-bedroom, once you stay in a 2-bedroom or anything else, it's hard to go back. So they know exactly what they're doing.
But Jeff, you could
try going on your very first stay ever and getting upgraded to a cabin. If that doesn't mess with your DVC point head, nothing else will.
Was that you?
Yep. Yes, that was him.
A Copper Creek cabin?
Yeah.
Yep.
We had a 1-bedroom booked
Wow.
in Copper Creek, and they upgraded us to a cabin because we were only there one night.
Yep.
That's how they
And
get you.
the rest is history.
Is it
Merry
usually
Christmas,
the welcome
Jeff.
home that has the best chance of an upgrade the first stay? Because that's the only upgrade I've ever gotten.
I don't know if a welcome homestay will really get an upgrade. So for those of you unfamiliar with welcome homestays, if you are buying direct, technically you can call Disney Vacation Club if they don't have available what you're looking for. And 9 times out of 10, maybe they magically find it so that you can have an amazing welcome homestay. But as Derek will remind you, you also paid twice as much to have that magical first stay. But I think the other thing, I feel like this show's going to take forever at this rate to get through these 10 different topics. But Jeff, you did this last year, and I think it's a great point. And we did it with our moms back when we were in West Virginia. And we brought them down here and we let them experience being in a Disney Vacation Club room. And I think that has fueled add-on-itis for us as too, because Jeff, you did that with a family friend or something and got them and used your points for that. And it feels magical by doing it.
Oh, it does. It's an amazing experience because not only are you introducing them to DVC, for the people that came with me, they'd never even stayed at a Disney hotel, period. Both the groups that I'm talking about were Disneyland people, but they were off-property Disneyland people. So to introduce them to Animal Kingdom Lodge, Bay Lake Tower is where we stayed both of those times, and then Boulder Ridge a third time. Like, to see the look on their faces, it's like, I want to bring everybody. And I have a fairly large family with lots of nephews and nieces, and I want to bring them all. In fact, I texted Paul when my parents were in town. We were sitting there at where were we? 50s primetime or so. I don't remember. Anyway, we were sitting there having dinner with my dad, and I was like, okay, for our family of, and I added up, I think there was 33 of us. How many rooms do we need, and how expensive would it be to rent points from rental store? And it was too much. There's just no way we could get everybody to do it. But the pie in the sky dream is still there.
Yeah, I remember that conversation. And it's not that DVC rental store is too expensive. It's just you have 33 people you're trying to accommodate.
Right. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the point. Like, we would need 3 grand villas for a week. There's just no way.
Not enough old key Jeff points for that.
No.
Jeff, I'll keep it with you. What is a lie that you think might have made the list or that you thought of when I sent through this topic?
So one that I thought of, that banking and borrowing gives you 3 years of points if you do it right. Now that's not a lie. That's factual. But literally, I know nobody that does that, like myself included. I've been in Derek's constant state of borrowing forever. I've never banked a single point. I've never been in a position where I could use 3 years of points at once. So I feel like that was a lie.
Well, because you have to go so long without your points after that happens.
No.
Yeah.
I also like to equate it as there's a jar of cookies on the counter. What kind of willpower is it going to take to not go into the jar of cookies and eat a cookie?
Yeah.
You can tell yourself all you want that you're going to buy a DVC contract and you're only going to use the points once every 3 years, but it's just not going to be the reality of the situation.
Oh, that was our original intention.
Yeah.
And we were going to use it like once every other year.
And then the first year
even
alone,
We
when
used
took
it like
4
5
trips.
times in 1 year. Yeah.
Even
So-
when I did the tour and they're offering that one time, you buy a contract, but you don't get your points this year, we're going to take them back from you and give you like a check. I
Magical
laughed at the
beginnings,
guy. I'm
yep.
like, I'm using these points tomorrow, dude. Like there's no cash. There's no check.
Yeah, we did that with our 50-point add-on at Boardwalk. It was like oh no, we're here and stuck because there's a hurricane right now. So we're just going to use some of these extra points right now and extend our vacation. Thank you. Have a nice day. Jeff, well, I think you do win the prize because that did not make my top 10 whatsoever.
No.
But congratulations.
I have another one that probably did, but we can come back.
Give
Or you
it
wanna
to
know?
us.
The DVC is just another timeshare. That was one that,
Oh yeah.
and I was so scared of it for so long because I had such a bad experience being in Las Vegas, and they just beat you to death. Anytime you walk into any of those casinos, those guys are there. Hey, how long you staying? You want free show tickets? Come with us in our blacked out van, and we'll take you somewhere to an undisclosed location, and then we won't let you.
And they give you a rum swizzle.
Yeah, right. I would walk past a DVC booth in the parks and walk to the other side of the path because I didn't want to talk to them. I just assumed that it was kind of the same way, which obviously it's not. They're very low pressure.
Shout out to multiple members of our DVC fan Facebook community. Greg Schumann, Bobby Mary, Laurie McLaughlin, and Greg had said that it's like other timeshares and we would never be able to sell or get rid of it if we wanted to. I thought that was a pretty profound comment. And then also Brian Collins, Bobby Mary also said, Brian said that DVC is like other timeshares. They are all a scam.
These are lies, of course.
These are lies. We are telling lies about Disney Vacation Club tonight. So many people just emphasized how it stands apart from any other timeshare out there. And if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to our Back to Basics episode where we talk about Disney Vacation Club in 2025, because we go into great depth about how this is not the mom and pop timeshare that you remember growing up with. I mean, it is a completely different product. Amy, what lies do you have to tell about Disney?
Well, I've been sitting here looking at the list for the last 10 minutes.
It's like cheating.
I know. And the one that keeps sticking out to me is one of the top ones. And it's that Saratoga Springs is the resort of last resorts. And I hate when people say that, but I don't think it's, not only is it not true, but I think it's becoming even less true to members now. It was like the first really good refurbishment with Murphy beds. The points are very affordable. It's very peaceful. You've got Disney Springs that's walkable. The drone show made it very attractive to stay there, that you could just watch the show from your resort. And then Disney Springs is just honestly ever evolving. You know what I mean? We've got so many good places. Now we've got Summer House. Seems like there's just new stuff popping up. And so being so close to that is a good thing.
Dawn said Saratoga was the bottom of the barrel. And let me tell you, in the comments, Saratoga owners just came in and flooded into this comments. And it was just like everyone was defending Saratoga. And the only thing that I will say that Saratoga needs to get together is their dining. And then they would actually really rise out of the depths of this category. But
but we can't say that until we try Turf Club.
We do have to go back to Turf
There's
Club.
There's rumors that it's turned a corner. I've heard that.
We need to schedule another dining review, take this whole group with us, get Derek to show up on Disney property and go with us. And
I'll be
Derek, you've not lived until you've ridden a Surrey bike at Saratoga Springs with Jeff Haslam driving. So
I've done a Surrey bike
that again. That was so fun.
Yeah. I've done a Surrey bike at the boardwalk. Never again. Never do a Surrey bike at the
There's
boardwalk.
not as many hills at Saratoga Springs. There's one, and yes, you question life on it and say a little prayer as you go down it. But after that, it's smooth sailing.
It's different when I'm on it. I don't question my life. The people below the hill do, and they should, because I can't stop that thing.
Okay, on that note,
on what note?
Just not Panda's note. The Surrey bike note. It is now winter, because I told you I was not doing it in the summer again.
Okay. Yep, that is true.
And we have yet to do Old Key West. And what better thing than to drive the mayor around so he can like, like wave at people?
Oh,
we could
yes.
do
We're going to get you a
campaign
whole
signs and stuff. Like, I could be
yes,
the grand
top
marshal.
hat, the sash that says like mayor on it, and you can just do like a slow wave. We'll time it at 9 a.m. when they play the revelry bugle call, the horse racing call that
That's
they
a
do.
Saratoga, not Okie West.
Oh,
They're not bugle calling any horses.
I was thinking we were going around Saratoga again. I don't know.
No, he's the mayor.
We're on the time. He could be the mayor of whatever he wants to be the mayor of. You know what? Yeah, but we are trying to focus all of our physical activity related content into the next 2 months. Jeff has us going to play foot golf, I think. Where is that even at?
It's a Disney.
It is at the Oak Trail Golf Course.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Saratoga.
that should be fun.
I'm just going for brunch.
Oh, no, you're playing foot golf.
I'll play.
If you playing mini golf was anything that broke the internet, you playing foot golf is going to even be better.
Yeah, and Amy Templeton will be with us as well, and I don't think she knows that yet. So this is going to be great.
Can we surprise her? Just don't tell her. Just tell her we're going to brunch and to bring some
Probably on the other
closed-toe
side of the
shoes.
door listening.
No, she can hear.
Derek, save us from this conversation. Tell us a lie about Disney Vacation Club that you would like to talk about.
Yeah, I love this topic. I was super pumped because over 20 years of talking to folks that heard stuff about Disney Vacation Club, I could literally do an entire show and go through so many of them, hours and hours and hours of show. So to keep this going, I have like two. So one is pretty minor per se, but one is pretty major. So the minor one that I do get asked all the time that they say is quote unquote. So I heard if I buy resale that I can't even buy DVC merchandise. That one I get that one a lot. So it's kind of a minor one. And of course the answer is absolutely not. You can buy DVC merchandise, whether you buy resale or guess what? Whether you ain't even a member, you can still go buy DVC merchandise. So that's got nothing to do with it. My major one that when I hear it, and believe it or not, I still hear it from time to time is, so I was told when I looked at Disney Vacation Club and I was thinking of buying direct, I was told by the person that if I buy direct, I get special priority when it comes to booking. Meaning, I brought up resale and they said, oh, well, just so you know, when it comes to booking, member services know whether you're a resale member or a direct member. So the inventory goes first to direct members and anything left over goes to resale members. I've even had people go so far as to say your points are quote unquote, I was told my points are more valuable when it comes to exchanging outside of my home resort. So if I have direct points, the odds of me getting into Beach Club at 7 months is better because I have direct points than if I bought resale points. That's an absolutely catastrophic end of the world lie. So I want to make sure that people are aware of that. Points are points. Member services doesn't care. So I'll still have the same member website, all of that. Mm-hmm. There's no priority booking because you bought direct. So
nope.
Nip that in the bud.
Well, two points to Derek because neither of those hit my top 10 list.
Ooh.
So I feel like that's a different show of almost like what are the 10 lies of DVC resale, which probably you could name off all 10 right now because you've heard enough of them over the years. But there's a lot of misleading stuff that's said about resale and how it's a second class type of ownership. But you are entitled to most of the same benefits that a direct member is. The only stuff you don't get is some of the stuff that's never really promised to remain, but that some of us have FOMO over, like Moonlight Magic and some of the other special events and the ability to use points at some of the newer properties. But other than that, you've saved a lot of money and you're happy about it. I will go to my list now for a couple of these. One that I thought was very interesting, and these kind of go hand in hand, so I'll merge them. Colin said, you'll never have a problem booking your home resort 11 months out. And Heather kind of also said that I could stay anywhere at 7 months. So I'd recommend that you buy where you want to stay. And I thought both of these were very interesting because it is getting more difficult at certain properties to get in, both at that 7 month window when you can use your points at any property, But also some of these properties, it can be very difficult at the 11-month window. I think Copper Creek is where I've heard the most frustration from members over the years, where everyone bought Copper Creek to stay in the 20 deluxe studios that they have, or however many that they have. But no one bought Copper Creek to stay in the cabins where Jeff got a free stay. So there's going to be a problem there, because at the 11-month window, everyone's going to try to book those studio accommodations, and those cabins are going to remain open. And so I think it's a pretty valid kind of critique of the system there.
Yeah. And then you're also going to look at those rooms that are really difficult to book, like Animal Kingdom Value, Concierge at Animal Kingdom, Standard View at Boardwalk, the cottages, the 3-bedroom cottages at Vero. There are going to be room categories that are more competitive, when it comes to booking. And so you need to go in it with a mindset of, it's great if I get it, but I need a backup plan if I don't.
It almost takes back to what Panda said to start the show. Like, you go into those Riviera Tower studios and you think, oh yeah, this is going to be enough points and I'm going to be able to book this every night.
Mm-hmm.
No. First off, you're not going to want to stay in that small little closet that much.
It's actually cool. When you're ready for it and expecting it, it's a great room to stay at, I got to say.
It's better than, I would say, the Duo studios that they've now been doing at other resorts, like the Island Tower at Polynesian. Yeah. I still think that there's more room in that tower studio just because of how it's laid out, kind of how the design is, because it's actually in that tower section that sticks up with the double R's. The
bathroom is huge, actually, yeah.
Oh, you could sleep in the bathroom. Like, if you needed room for a third person, just put them in the bathroom with a sleeping bag. They'll have a great time. Probably more room than you do in the main living space. But so another one.
That also translates to certain times of year as well. At the 11 months, might not be room type necessarily. Like the value resorts at Animal Kingdom are always going to be gone, but any room at 11 months for food and wine at Beach Club is going to be really hard to get. Even
first week of December is always super popular.
And that's just that risk that you have to take when it comes to buying, if you are buying for that 7-month window. So if you are buying cheap, what we would call sleep around points, you've got to realize that there are going to be times where it's highly competitive. You may not get exactly what you want. So being more flexible with that within those windows. But I do get I get the complaint about the 11-month window. There are some people that, maybe bought direct and they were told, oh yeah, you'll get this deluxe studio right at the 11-month window. Well, everyone else wants that same studio as well. This was one that I really laughed about. DVC is only for the rich, that it's so expensive that I would never be able to afford it.
Anybody on this call rich? Who's holding out?
Yeah. If you look at any of us and think any of us on this show are rich, let me tell you, we're not. And we have all asked this question of ourselves, I think, in our ownership. We had this conversation. We never thought we could afford Disney Vacation Club.
Yeah, well, we also
did eat every other day. We eat every other day.
We also didn't know, like, when we first started looking at DVC, and you get on the Disney Vacation Club website, it's like, here's how many points you need, here's how much it is, and I'm like, holy crap, I don't have $30,000 to give them right now. So, one, it was before we knew Resale existed. 2, it was before we knew that there were options for financing. Yeah. And then just, not really breaking it down and seeing the value versus what we were going to be paying, what we paid for our last trip at Coronado Springs. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can actually make this affordable for yourself, and it does make sense. Go ahead, Derek.
Nothing. I was just going to say, I can't even tell you how many folks I've talked to over all these years that when they finally take the time and do the research, they go, God, you know what? I never did, because I heard about it, but I always thought it was that club that, like, you got to pay $20,000 a year every year. And I'm not kidding. I get that I still get that. And then once people realize and go, oh, wait, so I pay the one-time price for the points once, but I get the points every single year. I can't tell you how many folks just honestly get scared away because, like, that's why
they think it's Club 33.
because they think it's
Yeah.
something completely
Yeah.
different. Like I mentioned on another show, I honestly think most of the members that buy, at least, with us, when I ask them, where have you stayed on property? It's honestly not, the Grand Floridian, the Contemporary, the Polynesian. It's Pop Century, Art of Animation, Port Orleans Riverside. That's where the majority of members come from. So it's not one of those things. You just got to take the time to do the research, because my God, how many people literally think that they know what it is and they just keep going to Disney, and then they look back and go, God, if we would have looked at this like 4 trips ago, God, I wish we would have done it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Panda, I want to direct this next one to you and allow you to debunk this lie, because as someone that has been a Disney fan for their entire life, basically, I feel like this hits to home. You'll get bored of going to Disney every year. Bethany said that the lie would be that I would get sick of going to Disney and I would end up selling my points.
I mean, that's a really personal question, but you would know. I don't get bored going to Disney every month. There's always something new every couple of weeks. With the amount of resorts, and just forget the parks for a second. Just the resorts that you could stay at for 5 nights and just enjoy the resort and the restaurants. I can't even. That to me is just, if you have to ask that question, maybe it isn't right for you, because maybe you really don't know how much there is to do. But my gosh, no. Getting bored of it is not even a thought.
Well, I think so too.
I mean, out of the 5 of us, I think Panda and I are probably in the parks the most. And there has never been a time that I was like, that's not true. The week of Thanksgiving, I was like, why did I come here? But other than that,
Sure.
I never want to leave. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. And we don't do everything when we go. Like, it's dinner and a ride, or fireworks and a ride, or whatever. Like, there's so much to do and so many different facets of using your DVC membership, which we're trying to cover more and more. Paul mentioned foot golf. There's so many different things that we're able to do because we're not spending our money to stay there, that I don't know how you would ever get bored. I just don't.
Yeah.
We love it.
I had a member reach out to us recently on Instagram or Facebook. I don't remember which one, but they were specifically looking at how do I make this year's trip as a Disney Vacation Club member a little bit more affordable. And that's exactly what I said. Explore the resorts. Explore what these resorts have to offer. There's so many activities that even we've not been able to explore and share with you all that are free or minimal money. They're definitely less than a park ticket. So if take a year off the parks, and I think you'll have just as amazing of a vacation, if not a more relaxing vacation. Because I think for a lot of us that travel to Disney every year, once a year, once every 2 years, that can be a very exhausting vacation. That it's not kind of the relaxation of sitting on a beach. It's wake up, rope drop, go until the fireworks are over, and maybe you've got, some extra evening hours after that.
Yeah. And, just on what like Panda and everyone said, like there's so many things. We've been visiting Disney kind of religiously since 2017, 2018 or so. But multiple times a year. Then we've lived here for 3 years. So that's obviously a lot. There's so many things that we still haven't explored yet. We just did Sangria University for the first time last year. I still want to do a horseback riding. I still want to do the archery experience. We still want to do the safari, the special safari things. And I have a Google Doc on my phone that has every single restaurant on Disney property listed it. And I put the little green like check mark on it when we actually try it. And our goal was that eventually we would be able to say, we have tried every single restaurant on property. And I don't even think we're close. Now, granted, we go back to like some of the ones we love the most over and over, but it's still a long time going trying to get through that list.
Yeah. And you'll never, even the restaurants, you'll never hit them all, because there will always be as many restaurants that we eat at a year, we also like to go back to some of our favorites. We're going back to the Mexican
I
place,
love that Rosa Mexicana.
Rosa Mexicano at the
Yeah.
Swan and Dolphin. We're going back there for the third time in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And it's just because we love it. So we keep going back to the ones that we love, and then we try to check these other ones off the list. And then Disney, in the meantime, opens 5 new restaurants. And so there's just, you never get to the end of it. You never get to the end of exploring unless you're just 24/7.
Well, and speaking of Google Docs, we sat in your living room when we were helping you guys move with all the things that we want to film for date nights and doing different things this year. And like, there was a whole, we could do something different every month and probably go 2 years.
Mhm.
And none of it was park related, or very
Yeah.
little of it was.
And all things we've never done before.
Yeah.
Any other lies that you guys have that have not hit the list so far that you thought of when we kind of sent through the ideas?
Another lie I was telling myself. I used to go to Disney all the time when I lived in New York. I used to go to the Polynesian. I was a travel agent. So in my mind, the Polynesian was $250 a night. Fast forward 10 years and I'm not checking. It's still the lie in my mind. So before you figure out your DVC value, go and check what a Disney resort costs now, because I was just shocked. Like, I don't know where the time went, but I was like, yeah, the Poly's got to be like, what, 300? And I looked and I like couldn't see anything under 600 a night. And I was like, wow, okay, so the value it's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah.
So take a look
I
at
feel
current
that
pricing.
sticker shock is a real thing. Like, you think you know what something should cost. I'm feeling like that with furniture right now. Like, how did IKEA furniture get so expensive?
Because you had a span that you just didn't need it and you didn't look. And
That's what-
in your mind, it's
yeah.
still.
So
while
yes, it's
ago,
the
yeah.
same thing. Like, you think in your head, well, this is what it is to stay at these rooms, and I still think I can go to Coronado Springs for $150 a night, but you need to
Yeah.
check again.
Well, in my mind, Pop Century is still what Jeff said. It's still $99 a night, and it's not. So
For comparison, you made me look this up as you were talking about it. I just pulled up the folio from our 1-bedroom standard view in the Island Tower that we
Oh
just
my
covered
God.
for grand opening.
Let me guess.
$1,346
For one
one
night.
night.
My God.
Could you imagine paying
So wait, so a week? Oh my God. Okay.
a week would get you a small DVC contract? And
Yeah.
that's the thing that I can't understand with some people is they still go and they spend that kind of money for a week-long stay with Disney. And it's like what you could get for that same money. But we all do that in our daily life. You know, we buy things all the time. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. No, I can tell you that it's funny that you mentioned that, because I always hear, and I did for a long time when I was with Disney, is you meet these families, and this was such a perfect fit for them, right? I mean, perfect. They go all the time, blah, blah, blah. But then when it's ready to join, it's, you know what? I think we're done with Disney. I think we're done. We've done it a lot, so I think we're kind of done. And I'd be like, really? Do you really think you're done with Disney? I swear to God, every single time I would literally see those families 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe even 10 years later. And I'd see them and I'd be like, oh my God, it's so good to see you again. So tell me, so what kind of trips have y'all taken since we last met? And they'll be like, well, we went to Disney, and then we went to Disney, and then we went to Disney. I'll be like, well, I thought you were done with Disney. And they're like, I know, I'm not done with Disney. And that's the whole point. You're not, because you might think you're done, but you have kids, right? And so you're going to go with your kids. And then those kids of yours one day are going to get old, and they're going to maybe get married and maybe have kids. And guess where you're contractually obligated to go is Disney. So you've got to go to Disney again. And the point is, when I tell people, listen, you're going to go anyway. So at least if you're going to go, I understand you think you might be done, because how you're currently staying in a hotel room is the 2 beds next to each other, right? You got 1 bathroom and that's it. So you're in the parks all day. You come home, you're exhausted. Everybody's on top of each other. If you want to eat, you're eating in bed. It's like you kind of dread going back to your room. So that's what I stress about it is, yes, you may think you're done, which is what I call kind of a lie, is you're never done with Disney. So you're going to go, but at least go and enjoy your vacations so much more. Everybody out there, everybody in the community can tell you, my God, Derek, when we went, it was our first time we stayed in a 1-bedroom Oh, my husband, who's not the biggest Disney fan in the world, loved it. It was his favorite trip because maybe we went to the parks and he stayed in the living room and watched the football game, or he did whatever it was. So you're going to go, but you're going to like your trips better. So that's what it comes down to. So don't believe the lie that you're done with Disney, because you're not. You're not done with Disney.
I was gonna say you almost do want to go eat in your room when you're a Disney Vacation Club member. One of my favorite memories for us was we were at Grand Floridian, and it was like the beginning of one of our trips, and we went down to Gasparilla.
It's funny because I was thinking of that when he said eating on the bed.
yeah, exactly. Like I was like, we took that back to the room, ate on the bed. I remember that. Please, anyone that works at Grand Floridian or Gasparilla Grill, you used to have a fish Reuben, which was amazing. Bring that back.
I remember that.
I could do a whole show on the things food wise I want them to bring back.
Yeah.
That are gone. Whole show.
And we've reached the hungry portion of our night, ladies and gentlemen. So I feel like you could play a home game as to when do we get hungry and when are we on our third show of the night. One of the other ones that I had on the list here for lies that came up in our DVC fan Facebook community, it's easy to use points for cruises and non-Disney destinations. And I cannot agree more with the fact that this has become a big selling factor, especially for Disney Direct. They keep trying to market and tell you that you should buy and use your points for this or use your points for that. I actually talked with someone the other day that was trying to buy, and their goal was to be able to go on Adventures by Disney vacations. And, it's Adventures by Disney is great. It's beautiful. And maybe, every once in a while.
He says that, but because we're not rich, like number 9 suggests, we have not been on one.
They look amazing.
They look amazing.
Yeah. Never done one ourselves. But these are just not really attainable or realistic ways that you can use your points, nor does it ever make sense financially. This is what Disney wants you to do with your points so that they can take your points and essentially make money off of them by using them at the property that you were supposed to use them at. They are essentially renting the points in those situations.
That you paid the dues on.
Yeah, you paid the dues on those points, and they're just making money off of you deciding that you wanted to swap 7 million points for an Adventures by Disney at Disneyland or something like that. That's not saying, though, that there's not ways to do this. And I think that, here at DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, we've really made that more attainable through the swap programs that we offer, where you can do a Disney cruise. You can go to Universal Orlando. You can now do a Royal Caribbean cruise, which is even more affordable, normally about half the price of a Disney cruise. And you can swap your points for these other vacation options. In those situations, you can actually see where it does become financially, it makes sense. So there are realistic ways to do this, but I would caution you and kind of avoid the marketing speak that Disney has definitely upped their game on. Because what was the number? I can't remember. I sent this through to so many people.
It was millions.
Disney did an end of the year wrap up story on Instagram, and it just had some stats, like some number stats, like people do, and it was like 3-point-something million points exchanged for Disney cruises, and my mind went bonkers. Like the amount of money that people lost. I guess you can't buy happiness. So congratulations to all of you.
It's the convenience.
It is the convenience. I don't want to tell people how to use their points. We get people that always tell us, don't tell me how to use my membership. But you could do better.
Well, that's a huge one, Paul, because I would literally put that, and I have it down here, is a lie, because I get asked all the time. They're like, well, I was told by so-and-so that I can't use resale points for a Disney cruise. And I always stress, first of all, have you seen a cruise point chart? And it's always, well, no, why? because it's colossally different than a Disney Vacation Club point chart, because cruise points are per person, and you're talking, 200, 300, 400 points per person for a cruise. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. I said, but however, if cruising is important to you, you absolutely can use resale points on a cruise, and we can help you use like 50% less points than you would if you went directly through Disney. So can you use resale points on a cruise? Absolutely, positively, 100%. You'll be on the same boat with everybody else that use 50% more points than yours. So yes, you can use points on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, and I don't want people to come for us in the comments a year or two from now when Amy and I actually do this direct through Disney in some capacity, because I will say the Disney Destiny, when they announced that they were going to do kind of the first wave sailing for that, I did look at the point charts and I was like, I kind of just want to do this, one, for content, but also just because it sounds fun. But we did stop ourselves from doing it. Because
what year was that? Is that coming this year?
It's 2026. Maybe? Yeah. Or maybe this year, 2025. I don't remember. There's so many new ships coming online, but
we didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
Well, and kind of to piggyback on that, they really, when I did the member, whatever they call it, member update or whatever, they were really pushing this Interval International thing, and what a good deal that is for you. And I was sitting in the room, and then I went to Vegas a couple of days later, and I'm like, I'm just curious because I want to know how much this hotel that I'm currently staying in would cost me points wise through Interval International. Oh my gosh, it was insanity. Like, based on what typically DVC rental store is renting points for, if I'd rented my points and paid cash for this room, it would have been $300 or $400, I think. And with the exchange program, the math works out to like almost $1,200 for the Stratosphere. Like, we're talking the worst hotel in the entire world for $1,000 for a weekend. Like, they need to stop selling it, because people that do any kind of research at all are going to see right through it, hopefully, because it's horrible. It's so bad.
Amy had a great time at the Stratosphere. She did all the rides at the top.
Yeah, and how long ago was that? Because you guys haven't been to Vegas since, like...
Yeah, well, we never stayed at the Stratosphere.
No, I just drank at the Stratosphere, and Amy rode rides.
I did do the rides. They were actually a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
One made me nauseous, and the other one...
To put it in perspective, typically during the week, the Stratosphere room you can get for about $39 a night. Like, it is...
Oh, my.
We're talking dead hookers under the bed. Not a place that I would ever want to stay. Okay? It is horrible. Horrible. The rides at the top are fine. Wow. The bars are great. The shows are great. Whatever. But the rooms themselves... What was the name of that hotel? Stratosphere. Okay.
Derek, if you go quick, there might be some life left. Good luck.
The worst rooms in all of Las Vegas, right? Where a normal room... we are meeting you guys in Disneyland. We're going with Jeff and Dan. We're going to Vegas a couple days early. Imperial Palace. Well, it's not called that anymore. The Link.
Right.
Probably double that cost for a very decent room. And then I was at Treasure Island, which, again, is not anything special, for half the price of what the Interval International exchange would cost you.
Yeah.
So there you have it. That's my rant.
Someone in the comments is going to love the Stratosphere.
Oh, I know. It's going to be, they're going to come for me.
It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Well, on that note, I don't think I can take us anywhere else in this conversation. We have hit all corners of the world and all corners of Vegas at this point.
And I am currently booking for the DVC Fan Summerfest 2026 at Stratosphere. So
we'll pull up in our Winnebago. Amy will be juggling. Chime in the comments below this video, or with us if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. Let us know what lies you have heard over the years related to Disney Vacation Club, because there's so many, and I feel like we could just keep going with some of the things that we've heard from people. Yeah, let us know your thoughts. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC Show. Thank you all. Thank you, Jeff, for what I'm going to be thinking about for the rest of the night. We'll see you next Monday.
I don't know why he said that. I don't know.